Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel in Tina's Kitchen, where today I'm inviting you over to the Eastern European seas of Ukraine. Today we are going to be making borscht. I have never made borscht in my life, but I've eaten it and enjoyed it and loved it as a child. But I haven't had it in a really long time, so I thought this would be such a perfect opportunity to go ahead and make it and enjoy this amazing soup with my family who has also not tried it, and see if my version is going to live up to that borscht name. I don't want to follow any type of recipe, but when you think of borscht, of course, the staple in this dish is obviously your beets, your cabbage, your carrots, your beef. A lot of people opt for a vegetarian borscht, but I really had this really nice piece of meat and I thought I would just utilize it and make a broth and use that in the borscht to give that extra flavor. We're also going to be using bay leaves, which is another staple in this dish, peppered corn, some Aleppo pepper, some salt. I'm also going to be using a little bit of pepper paste and some tomato paste for that additional source of color. And I'm using two types of cabbage. I'll be using the red cabbage and that normal cabbage, and some potatoes. And we'll garnish it with some cilantro, some parsley, and give it an amazing color and flavor. I'm really excited for this and hope you'll join me in making an authentic Ukrainian borscht. Before I begin chopping and dicing all these beautiful vegetables, I do want to get my broth started and cook this meat. And in doing so, I wanted to add a little bit of flavor to my broth with some oil. Just drop it in, eyeball it, probably 3 or 4 tablespoons. And then I wanted to put in some onion that I had in the fridge. And then here goes the meat. I've diced it pretty small into small pieces. And then I do want to add a little bit of this peppercorn, a little bit of actual pepper, some salt, and a little bit of Aleppo pepper for a hint of flavor and some kick. And why don't we just throw in a tiny little bay leaf to get our broth going? Okay, perfect. And then I wanted to put in a little bit, just a tiny little handful of some cilantro, a little bit of parsley, and there we have it. Our broth will cook. This is a pressure cooker, so it should get prepared pretty quickly. The steam will indicate that my broth is complete and my meat is cooked. So we will be cooking this meat twice. So once in here and then once with the actual borscht for a few hours, so it should get very tender. I'm gonna move this onto the stove and meet you back to dice and slice all these beautiful vegetables. All right, so the 3 vegetables that I wanna begin slicing and grating are the ones that we're gonna be sauteing first. So it's gonna be our onion. I've already chopped up 1 whole onion in preparation for that onion saute. And then now I wanted to grate some of these carrots and also finely dice these celery. And then after that, we'll bring in the cabbage. And again, I want to try to use my food grater to get that really thin sliced type of cabbage. You can also finely chop this, no problem, whatever is your preference. And then we'll go ahead and dice our potatoes, as well as these beautiful beets. I've never worked with fresh beets. This is gonna be interesting. I know they stain your fingers. They've already started to, so I believe we should wear gloves for this process. All right, so let's begin with our carrots. And I'm gonna use this really handy dandy mandolin and grate this carrot. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes after all of this is prepared. saved the hardest piece for last. I'm thinking it might be difficult, but it might also be simpler with a potato peeler. We'll just go ahead and, oh, it is, it's great. Okay, you guys, potato peel these, the skin, and then we'll grate these with our food grater. I'm wearing gloves because I really don't want my fingers to stain. As you can see, it really does stain. And it smells amazing. Beets are so good for you. They're an amazing source of iron. It's good for the blood. It's good for your immune system. This soup itself should be so good for your immunity, especially with all these unnecessary viruses out there. Okay, so we have one down. Next. And I hear my pressure cooker steaming away. So our broth is also ready with our beef. So before I get started on sauteing that onion, I do want to look at my broth real quickly just to see, oh, the steam, just to see if we have a lot of foam on the top. We want to remove that. I don't typically like to have that in my broths, and it's a very natural element that occurs when you cook beef. So we'll go ahead and remove that and then use this as our broth in our soup. So I'll just go ahead and remove it. And this broth smells amazing because of all those flavors we put in. And also you can go ahead and extract all that extra, ingredients that we use, like the onions, the cilantro, the parsley, anything else you could leave in there, because we will be using that. we are almost done with preparing our borscht. I just added a little bit more cilantro. I threw in an Anaheim pepper in here for a little hint of flavor. The colors are so vibrant. You have your red, your green, your orange. It's so beautiful, so hearty. I cannot wait for my kiddos to try this. I will plate this dish and meet you back in about an hour. I do like to overcook my soups, and this is definitely one of those soups that needs some time to stew within its own beautiful, wonderful elements. We want that meat to really tenderize, so I will be cooking it for a longer period of time. Let's lower the heat, put on a lid, and meet back in about 45 minutes to an hour. All right, and there we have it. I've garnished our borscht with some sour cream and some parsley just to give it that beautiful color against the red. And I just want to go in for a little bit of a taste test to let you guys know if my recipe worked out or not. So here goes. It's so pungent, the flavors. Every ingredient has its own character. The cabbage, you can taste the carrots, the sweetness, the beef broth, the spice that I added with that Aleppo pepper, and I did go in and add that Anaheim pepper. It did add a little bit of a kick. I added some cayenne pepper, and it's all enveloped with this beautiful bay leaf flavor that I absolutely love and adore. I really hope you guys give this recipe a try, and please like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much.